The echoes of forever. The first time Lily saw him, she was 6 years old. He was standing at the edge of the lake, his small hands clutching a piece of bread as he fed the ducks. His hair was a mess of dark curls, and his clothes were slightly too big for him. But there was something about the way he smiled so freely, so genuinely, that made her stop in her tracks. She didn't know his name, but she knew she wanted to be his friend. "Hi," she said, approaching him cautiously. He turned to her, his smile widening. "Hi, do you want to feed the ducks too?" She nodded, and he handed her a piece of bread. They spent the entire afternoon by the lake, laughing as the ducks quacked and splashed in the water. By the time the sun began to set, Lily knew she had found her best friend. His name was Noah, and from that day on, they were inseparable. They spent their summers exploring the woods behind their neighborhood, building forts out of sticks and leaves, and pretending they were adventurers on a quest to save the world. In the winter, they would sit by the fireplace in Lily's living room, drinking hot chocolate and telling each other stories. Noah was the kind of person who made everything feel magical. He could turn a simple walk to the park into an epic adventure, and his laughter was infectious. But there was also a quiet side to him, a side that only Lily ever saw. Sometimes, when they were alone, he would talk about his dreams, how he wanted to travel the world, how he wanted to make a difference. And Lily would listen, her heart swelling with pride, because she knew he would do all of those things and more. As they grew older, their friendship deepened. They were there for each other through everything, the good, the bad, and the heartbreaking. When Lily's parents divorced, Noah was the one who held her as she cried. And when Noah's father passed away, Lily was the one who stayed by his side, reminding him that he wasn't alone. But as they entered their teenage years, something began to shift. Lily started to notice the way Noah's eyes would linger on her a little too long, the way his hand would brush against hers whenever they walked side by side, and she couldn't deny the way her heart raced whenever he was near. One summer evening, as they sat by the lake where they had first met, Noah turned to her and said, "Lily, there's something I need to tell you." Her breath caught in her throat. "What is it?" He hesitated, his eyes searching hers. I think I'm in love with you." Lily's heart skipped a beat. She had always known that Noah was special to her, but hearing those words made everything feel real. "I think I'm in love with you too," she whispered. That night, under the stars, they shared their first kiss. It was soft and sweet, and it felt like the beginning of something beautiful. For the next few years, they were inseparable in a new way. They were each other's first love, and they cherished every moment they had together. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Noah was accepted into a prestigious university on the other side of the country, and Lily was offered an internship in Europe. They tried to make it work, but the distance was too much. They promised to stay in touch, but as time passed, their conversations grew fewer and farther between. Years went by, and Lily threw herself into her career. She became a successful journalist, traveling the world and telling stories that mattered. But no matter where she went or what she accomplished, she couldn't shake the feeling that something was missing. One day, while covering a story in Paris, she found herself standing in front of a small art gallery. The sign outside read, "Noah Carter, Echoes of Forever." Her heart stopped. She hadn't seen or spoken to Noah in years, but the thought of seeing him again made her chest ache. She stepped inside, and there he was. His hair was still a mess of dark curls, and his smile was just as genuine as she remembered. He was standing in front of a painting, a beautiful, haunting depiction of a lake at sunset. "Noah," she whispered, her voice trembling. He turned to her, his eyes widening in surprise. "Lily?" For a moment, they just stood there, staring at each other, as if they were both trying to figure out if this was real. "I didn't know you were an artist," she said finally, breaking the silence. He smiled faintly. "I didn't know either, until I started painting to fill the void you left behind." Her heart ached at his words. "Noah, I never stopped loving you." he interrupted, his voice soft but firm. Even when we were apart, even when I tried to move on, you were always there, in the back of my mind, in the echoes of forever. Tears streamed down her face as she stepped closer to him. I never stopped loving you either. And in that moment, as they embraced, it felt as though no time had passed at all. They were still those two kids by the lake, feeding the ducks and dreaming of the future. Noah's art exhibit was a success, and Lily wrote a story about it that touched the hearts of readers around the world. But more importantly, they found their way back to each other. They spent the rest of their lives together, traveling the world, making a difference, and creating their own echoes of forever. And as they sat by the lake, hand in hand, watching the sunset, they knew that their love was the kind that would last a lifetime and beyond. After their reunion in Paris, Lily and Noah decided to take things slow. They spent weeks exploring the city together, rediscovering each other and the love they had once shared. They visited museums, walked along the Seine, and talked for hours about everything they had missed in each other's lives. Noah told her about his journey as an artist, how he had started painting as a way to cope with their separation, and how it had eventually become his passion. Lily shared stories of her travels and the people she had met along the way. They laughed, they cried, and they fell in love all over again. But their reunion wasn't without its challenges. Lily's job often took her to different parts of the world, and Noah's art exhibits required him to travel as well. They had to learn how to balance their careers with their relationship, and there were times when the distance felt overwhelming. One particularly difficult moment came when Lily was assigned to cover a story in a war-torn country. Noah begged her not to go, fearing for her safety. But Lily was determined to tell the stories of the people who needed to be heard. I have to do this, Noah, she said, her voice firm. It's who I am. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I know, and I love you for it. But that doesn't make it any easier. While Lily was away, Noah poured his emotions into his art. He created a series of paintings, inspired by their love, each one more beautiful than the last. When Lily returned, she was greeted with an exhibit titled The Echoes of Us. It was a tribute to their love, and it brought tears to her eyes. You've always been my muse, Noah said, taking her hand. And you always will be. As the years went by, their love only grew stronger. They supported each other's dreams and celebrated each other's successes. They built a life together, filled with love, laughter, and the occasional argument. But through it all, they never lost sight of what mattered most to each other. One summer evening, as they sat by the lake where they had first met, Noah turned to Lily and said, Do you remember the first time we fed the ducks here? She smiled, leaning her head on his shoulder. Of course I do. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was the beginning of everything, he said softly, and I wouldn't change a single moment of it. Lily looked up at him, her heart full. Neither would I. And as the sun set over the lake, casting a golden glow over the water, they knew that their love was the kind that would last forever. It was a love that had survived distance, time, and heartache. It was a love that had grown stronger with every challenge they faced. In the end, their story wasn't just about love. It was about resilience, about finding your way back to the person who makes your soul feel at home. It was about the echoes of forever, the moments, big and small, that make up a lifetime of love. And as they sat there, hand in hand, watching the sun dip below the horizon, they knew that their love would continue to echo through the ages, a testament to the power of two hearts that were always meant to beat as one.